to the subject, onto the personal side, I will tell you. So most of you would also be on that particular side of it. Say I am 55. Last month I turned 55. So in the last year, somewhere by May or June, I remember a gentleman whose son and daughter came for coaching. He himself being once upon a partner in Big Four in Bangalore. This gentleman called and said he wanted to have an exclusive class for him. Being, what could I say, a person senior to me and asking this, I could not say no to him. Then I asked, what is that I want him to be taught? Firstly, he did not tell what I got to teach, but he had the belief that I can only handle it. I said, okay. Then he just gave all the inputs that was on valuation. On seeing the valuation syllabus, even before I could handle any class, I have registered for RBF and cleared in the very first chance itself, because the matter was related to my subject that I was handling for CFN students. So 63 marks or so I scored and I have cleared the examination. Soon after that, Vijayawada branch announced a 6 days program, 2 hours each, and they extended the session for 3 hours. And that gave me some amount of input. I took up this limited insolvency course, and I did not clear in the very first chance there. I cleared only in the 5th attempt. Only in the 5th attempt. But once I filed in that particular examination, I waited for 1 day for the IBBI site to get itself enabled for next payment of fees. And that's the way I ended up in the immediate chances. Within 1.5 months, I cleared. So when I failed miserably in the first 2 and came closer to pass, and I cleared with little amount of surplus only, 69.25 or something like that, where 60 is the cutoff. Many professionals or many colleagues, professional colleagues, when they were telling about by 2016 itself that this course is going to give a lot of opportunity and all that. So I was just having a feeling at this age, how is that I am going to learn and put them into practice and all that. That sort of disbelief was there. Let me openly admit. And this sort of feeling is what it would be running to many, is what I just felt. I checked up with others and they said, so our 40 is internal audit, taxation. When we could cater to our clients that way, it is all more than sufficient. We don't have to venture into new areas. And this was a sort of a mental block. So this pandemic only resulted in a thinking as why not we try. Because we had some amount of time which was not there in our regular practice. So those who were forcing me at the initial stage that I got to take up this valuation and IBC course, that point of time I was just slowly thinking, and why not I try. So when valuation examination I cleared, that gave me the confidence, and this IBC course also I just completed. But it took 5 chances. So let me just openly admit this. And never in my CA examinations I failed. So everything in the first shot I cleared. So in fact, when I did not clear in the 4th chance, my children were telling, Dad, why you are struggling with this? So please give up. I said, your dad will never give up. And definitely I will clear the examination is what I told, and I cleared. So it is very much possible at this particular stage, and I know that some of the participants will be a little elder to me, and most of you would be younger chartered accountants. So my presence before you is definitely a source of confidence for you that when I could clear, you can easily clear. This is what even in my regular class I used to tell. So I am an average student. I was an average student. But one good quality I had is that I was hardworking, never I will give up. So it is like tortoise and rabbit story only. I just really feel like Okay, let me be a tortoise. I will win one day, but I will go in my speed only. And never I had any problem, and I cleared the examination. So the point at this particular stage that I am taking up for discussion is that the today's title for discussion is overview of insolvency course and the examination. It is not about the IBC, that is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. It is all about the course. Okay, so it is something like when I got myself into this course some 1 year back, as how I was and how I am today. That transition is what I am going to tell. So let me just split this total discussion into 4 parts. That is a stage before this 2016. That is what sort of mechanism we had in recovery of debts, especially from bankers' point of view, and other creditors, and why this particular IBC came into. There is a before, and 2016 what sort of facility this IBC could provide to business community as a whole, especially to bankers and those who are giving credits to business houses. Then what is the present scenario and what is stored for the future. So we can split the entire thing into 4 and we can attend to the title very clearly. So now let us just take up firstly, and I will use the screen also here. So tell me as whether you are seeing my window.
Not yet, sir. Yeah, it has started,
Yeah.
sir. Now, yes, correct.
Okay.
It is there.
So see, today's discussion, I will take like a class only. Okay.
It will be our pleasure, sir. You're listening to your class.
Yes. So I will put that into 4 parts. Before the introduction, in 2016, what had happened, and now, and in the future. Correct. So, firstly, before the arrival of IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So, what was the scenario? Who are all people affected? Bankers, creditors who are providing credit to companies. So, what the companies would have done is that you could just see companies would mean if the companies are governed properly, then there is no problem at all. You just find, ideally, I would just take Tata's as a particular business house where the corporate governance is given the highest amount of respect, and you do not find any diversion of funds, or even if there were to be, it will be on the minimum side only. So why business could fail? So, and especially when they fail, and they fail at a very high level, that is where the value that they take up, or the amount of loss that they are going to report, or the default that they are going to commit is not a small sum. When they were in small stage, when they were growing, so definitely you just find their magnitude of loss will be on the lower side. So I remember I've been to Hyderabad for one small work. So it was about a merger plan with one of the companies with Dr. Reddy Labs. So I remember the name of that particular company was Benjax. So that got merged with Dr. Reddy's. So I remember that was in 1980s, late 80s. They were doing a lot of uh, such corporate mergers at that point of time. So I was just having a feeling, okay, whatever I studied and whatever I just learned in theory, I could just see them in practice. So you can understand that companies, when they do their business with little or no diversion, they never ended up with loss. Even if there were to be a loss, it could be a seasonal thing, or the industry by itself would be reporting such loss, and they had periods of recovery and they have just come good. Whereas companies where you just find diversion taking place, there are a lot of examples that you can quote. Today through WhatsApp, I was just seeing as how many businessmen caused so much of loss to uh, Indian banking system, and they are in hide. So, a lot of examples we can quote. So, daily you can just look into the newspaper about Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi, Lalit Modi, and you can just name a lot. See, there are some 29 numbers I could just see. So, all that really cost a banker a lot of pain. So, bankers were finding it very difficult to get the money. And creditors also, see, bankers failure is being reported in the newspaper. So those who have given credit to bankers, sorry, to companies, their pains are not reported anywhere. So you just find the creditors who have extended the credit to business houses are classified here as financial creditor and operational creditor. So these are the two people who have given the blood to the business, and they were not given the amount of respect, and having given the money by financial creditors, having given the operational support by operational creditors, these companies were dodging or they were hiding, and they were finding a lot of loopholes in the system, and the recovery of money was taking greater amount of time and with greater amount of pain and cost. So if this way the business is being conducted, you just find the investments to India, and business growing in India would definitely be not in good shape. So it will result in retardation is what that point of time the government had just filed, and we had this BLRC report, that is uh, a committee which was formed to look into us what mechanism they can bring about so that there is a change in the operations, in the sense that these companies who are managing the company, that is these board of directors and promoters who are running the companies, so they shall be removed, and the creditors can step in, and possibly they can bring about some revival instead of going in for liquidation directly. So this BLRC, that report which came much earlier to 2016, had paved the way for the arrival of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. After the arrival of 2016 IBC Code, what had happened is that these financial creditors and operating creditors, they are given with lot of facility, especially to financial creditors. So what they can do is that they can take up the role of removing the promoters and board of directors, and in their place, insolvency professionals were given the powers to run the business for greater prosperity, or whatever problems that a company was facing, they were all to be removed, and a new scheme is to be taken up, and the business or businesses are expected to be revived. Failing which, the next stage is to go for liquidation. So we were all under the impression that this insolvency and bankruptcy code is focusing more on two corporates. In fact, it is not so. So it takes into account individuals and partnership firms also. So the business house as a whole, when we take, you can classify them into two: corporates and non-corporates, individuals and partnership firms. Correct. So when we say as corporates, then we will think that it is only company. Actually, it is not so. It will be company as well as LLP. So companies and LLPs are classified as corporate. So whatever insolvency that we take up, so we say as corporate insolvency and resolution process, we call it as CARP. So in fact, if you look into this IBC code, that is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, majority of the paragraphs, they are talking only about for individuals and partnership firms. So understand that right now, this particular IBC is not operational for individuals and partnership firms. Right now, it is operational only for corporate. Okay. So I'm just giving you touching as what is this IBC all about. Then about the course, I will be taking up the matter for discussion. So because I cannot bring out an understanding that you people know something about IBC and talk something about insolvency and bankruptcy code course. That is limited insolvency course. So firstly, I should introduce what is the purpose of this particular course is going to address. So therefore, I thought I will just make a discussion right now on to what is this IBC all about. Then, so therefore, the scope for this insolvency professional, who is an insolvency professional, all that I am going to take up for discussion. So what is the eligibility criteria? Who and all can take up? What is the entry point and how you are about to enter into the course and how you are about to clear? And what is your prospects there? What is your chances of shining in this particular area? All that we will have as a discussion. Okay. So this is about where greater number of paragraphs were there only for individuals and partnership firms and very less for, comparatively less for corporates. Then what is the present day scenario? Present day scenario, let me just tell you that the government is also taking into consideration this present pandemic, and definitely companies are in a way defunct. They are not in a position to pay their liabilities because business got strained because of this pandemic. So originally this IBC in which this creditors, financial creditor or operational creditor, whosoever can initiate the process, whosoever is initiating the process of this insolvency resolution process, where they expect some default to be caused. See, only when companies cause a default, these financial creditors and operating creditors will definitely be affected and they will initiate the process. So, what is the amount of default, minimum amount of default? What is the minimum amount of default these companies or corporate debtors are expected to commit? So, they have said it is 1 lakh. So, minimum default, if it were to be 1 lakh, then financial creditor or operational creditor are expected to, or if they wish, they want to remove these promoters and board of directors removed or suspended, and where they cannot be, say, these financial creditors, bankers, and operating creditors, they will not be having the time and expertise to carry on the business of the corporate debtor. So, therefore, they felt that IBC had just given them the chance, and IBC is telling that insolvency professional is expected to do that job on behalf of these creditors. So that is a place where chartered accountants are going to play a very big role, and we just don't have to have a feeling. So we are all not in metros and all that. So right now, whether you are in metro or non-metro, the matter is going to be the same. So there is no change in the status as far as the professionals are concerned. Because of the pandemic, what they have just done is that this 1 lakh, they have increased it to a crore of rupees. And they have also suspended no new case can be taken up during the period of pandemic. So whatever old cases that we have taken prior to this, that will continue to be there. That process will continue to be there. And wherever there is a delay, there is going to be some consideration. This NCLT may be giving. We will talk about that structure a little later. So what I'm trying to say is that, so right now, this particular IBC on which not new case, there is no new case were taken up, and it is all, whosoever is a professional taking up the work there, it's all old work they are continuing, no fresh cases taken up because of this pandemic. Okay, this is about the scenario. Even today, there are a lot of difficult moments that they have, and more so in this corporate insolvency program and all that, CIRP, they say that it is a time-bound program. So you cannot be just taking your sweet time to resolve the issues. They say 180 days within which you are expected to complete the entire process. And in case there is an extension, that the adjudicating authority can be giving NCLT, the immediate authority for this insolvency professional, for any extension to be asked. Definitely this NCLT can provide one-time extension not exceeding 90 days. So 270 days through which the process should be completed. And 270 would mean, so there can be a lot of delays in between and all that, so which are justifiable and all that. So thereby they said, so not exceeding 330 days, this matter should be getting over. And that is the, and regarding the future point, we will have a discussion a little later. So coming to the topic, today's topic, as what is this course all about? What is the position of chartered accountants in this particular course? What sort of scope chartered accountants are standing to gain? All that we will be discussing now. So we are talking about insolvency professional. What is that? Insolvency professional. Okay. So now I would like to share the screen, and we will try one by one. Now I would like to share a PPT that I prepared. Are you seeing the PPT? Please respond.
Sir, I am able to see, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Are you seeing the questions coming up there?
No, sir.
My name only is there appearing. No.
Yes, sir. Only name, mail ID, WhatsApp number is there.
So, who is an insolvency professional? So, who can be an insolvency professional? Can a chartered accountant or a student who cleared the CA in the last examination, can he pick up this insolvency professional work? Can he just do that? Any idea about that? So answer to that question is that to know about the responsibilities, about what role he is expected to do, and what is this IBC is expecting from him, and how he is going to manage this financial creditor, who could be his appointing authority, or you would just find if all financial creditors were to be related to the corporate debtor, then his boss will be operating creditors. So how he will be taking the order and how he is going to execute. So quite naturally, to carry out this, definitely experience is very much required. This Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. What is that? Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. IBBI. So when IBC was created, like how CA Institute is there, same as the way you have this authority, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, an authority, where they have prescribed that insolvency professional should be either a chartered accountant or a cost accountant or a company secretary or an advocate. 4, or there is this board there is one more also we do have. I will let you know a little later. These 4 people, 4 professionals should at least have 10 years of experience. Experience post-qualification. So after clearing the examination, either they should have been in employment or they should be in practice for a period of minimum 10 years. Then they have also considered people who are considered to be having a graduation with 15 years of managerial, in a managerial capacity. If they have just gained experience, then they can also be taken up as an eligible candidate to take up that examination conducted by Ibbi. So, who are having the basic qualification: chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary, law professional, 10 years of experience, and graduates with 15 years of managerial experience. I know a person who was working for a banker, that is State Bank of Mysore. This gentleman, having had this experience of 20 years in banking service under a managerial cadre, resigned his job and took up the examination. Now he's an IP resolution professional. So how is it he was knowledgeable? Simple. So he was representing State Bank of Mysore and he was meeting people and he felt that he is having adequate amount of knowledge and experience. So therefore he stood eligible for taking up the examination conducted by Ibbi, and he resigned and now he is a professional. So this sort of one route that you have, that is, it is not the only route. So then people might ask this question: sir, a person who has an experience less than 10 years, can he not become an IT professional? Sorry, IP. Can he not become an IP? So answer to that question is yes, there is another route that we have. So that we call it out as graduate insolvency professional. That is one route that we have. I will tell you what is that route. So there are 2 routes that you have. Those who are having more than 10 years of experience or more than 15 years in the case of graduates who are having managerial qualification, and here less than 10 years. So here we put it out as we are getting into Ibbi examination, because 10 years and 15 years of experience we do have, so that itself is sufficient to take up the examination conducted by Ibbi. Those who are not having the 10 years of experience, whether they got to wait until the 10 years, answer to the questions now. You do have something called as graduate insolvency professional course. So just for the sake of reference, I am telling you what is that, but predominantly our focus will be on to this area. Who can take up this? Chartered accountant, cost accountant, CS, advocate, MBAs, and postgraduates who are having as their main course, that is main on finance, commerce, economics, and all that. So you cannot be having MSc mathematics fellow coming under this. So their minimum age, that is maximum age, is 28. So a person who had this got all this qualification, but 29 years would mean he cannot get into this graduate insolvency professional course. Who is conducting this graduate insolvency professional course? Not Ibbi. This is conducted by Ministry of Company Affairs. Indian Institute of Company Affairs, MC, as part of MCA only, Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, IICA. So this IICA course is running for 24 months. How many months? 24 months residential course. That will cost around 12 lakhs of rupees. Around 12 lakhs of rupees. 2 years. Which has got 4 trimesters. Like what you have semester, you have trimesters. That is, in 1 year, you will have 3 examinations and you call that as trimesters. And 2 internship. After that, there is 1 trimester. So 4 trimesters and 2 internship will make this program very attractive for young professionals. And after doing this, they got to come to IBBI examination. So therefore, it is something like this way. I compare this because we do have something called as in engineering course. People who are clearing higher secondary take up BE examination. That is BE course. Higher secondary BE, Bachelors of Engineering. There were some diploma holders in engineering, whether they can become graduates. Answer to that question is yes. What is that? You call them as lateral entries. What is that? Lateral entries. So therefore, you find in a class those who completed higher secondary getting into the class. Next, you find diploma holders who are working or who are work getting into this course. Likewise, you do have 2 routes in case of becoming an insolvency professional. One, this 10 years, 15 years. The other one is graduate insolvency professional course conducted by IICA. To get into the course, you have entrance examination like how you have in the case of NEET and all that. JEET, you do have that. So today is the examination day also. I do not know whether they have postponed or something like that. The total intake in 1 year, 1 academic year is going to be 52. Only 52 seats. And the course, the place where the person need to do is Gurgaon. Maybe close to Delhi. I'm not very sure about the geographical location. Somewhere in close to New Delhi only. 52 students only they are admitting, and since it is carried out by the government, you do have reservations also. So like privileged, those who are having that underprivileged people, those who are in scheduled caste and scheduled caste, they are also admitted. So what I would just say is social color you do have in that particular course. So after doing that, this 10 years and 15 years and all that you don't require. So you are automatically gaining entry into IBB examination. So there is only one common examination that you have conducted by IBBI. That is not directly conducted by IBBI. That is all conducted by NISM. So NISM is a platform through which IBBI is conducting the examination. This is National Stock Exchange. They conduct a lot of courses. What are the courses they conduct? They conduct for merchant bankers. They conduct for mutual funds. They conduct for investment bankers. So since they have already a platform, across the country they have centers. So IBBI felt that instead of ourselves doing the entire thing, so they have just given this particular platform to NISM, and the course content and how it is to be conducted, they're all within the control of IBBI. And this is in brief about who is an insolvency professional. Now you will have an idea as who is an insolvency professional. Insolvency professionals, as of now, today we can take up these things. 10 years and 15 years thing. And these people also will be taking up IBB examination. If you go through this graduate insolvency professional course, when you recommend, please consider this cost and 2 years. So if a professional wanting to or if a professional wanting to enter into this particular course at the early stage, not coming after 10 years and 15 years, definitely you can recommend, provided they can invest both money as well as time to it. And what is their employment prospects, or what is their prospects? Definitely great prospects you have. So there are a lot of international firms also which are into insolvency. They will easily pay such young professionals minimum 70,000-80,000 rupees per month take home, and they have placement, sell and all that. That is what you just find in their website, claiming that per annum is 12 lakhs of rupees and all that. So I'm not just being attracted by the numbers. I'm just sharing information to all of you. So who can be an insolvency professional? I think the first part of the question, we are clear. So instead of putting all the queries towards the end, in case you have any doubt, then and there, I normally encourage people to ask question as you just get. Now I will just give you some time space for you to ask question. Is it okay? Because in a classroom, I just do not ask them to accumulate. So as I told you that I am taking up this webinar like a class only. Do you have any doubt? You can ask.
Members, if you are having any doubts, you can switch on your mic and you can directly ask questions to the faculty.
If you feel that it is too early also, please tell. I am not just really feeling anything bad and all that. I will proceed to the next stage.
Sir, I think we can proceed, sir. If at all, if there are any questions, the member will post it in the chat box.
But I'm not seeing the chat box and all that here, because when I'm taking it up on full screen, I don't see anything. You can intervene and tell me, okay?
Okay, sir.
The coordinator can definitely stop me at any point of time and
Yes,
tell me, okay? So I will proceed.
Monitoring the chat box, sir, and if it is anything there, we'll just let
please,
you know.
Please, thank you. Now, now you can understand that there are two routes that you have. So most of us may not be into the other route, though I've just given that piece of information for you. So 10 years plus qualification is required. So next one is, what is the eligibility criteria for becoming an insolvency professional? So this is something like who can be a chartered accountant like? Likewise, you can say the person should be a resident of India. First condition is that. Okay. So I had what should I say, a scenario where my younger brother who had just come to India for good from Gulf. And he took up the examination because he had filled the form long time back, and when he attained that residentship, he took the examination. He did not clear, and he had a different area. So first and foremost thing that you got to remember is that a person who is expected to have the eligibility would mean he should be a resident in India. So, and similarly, when a person is already an insolvency professional, when he is leaving India, he is expected to surrender his membership. He cannot be just like that going there. So have that in your mind, and we will cover that. Then he cannot be a minor is what the list is saying. So definitely this part of the question may not be appropriate is what our mind would just say. Today I could just see some chartered accountants. Today they are senior members, but when they become chartered accountants, they have cleared the examination at the age of 18, 19 and all that. I am just reading as an article. But when I have studied, they said a chartered accountant should be a minimum of 21 years of age, is what I read. But when you read the history of great chartered accountants, they say that he became chartered accountant at the age of 18 and all that. So maybe that point of time they did not have this 21 years of age. So to make a small, what should I say, claim, when I cleared my examination, in SIRC, we had one gentleman by name Dr. B. Ramraj. He was just telling, say, it was not like today's computer and all that you are having, you can see just like that. We went to the institute, and that gentleman I just saw from the list that he had got. Small list only, already a list itself was like that. And he was just telling, I was the youngest chartered accountant in the country who cleared that point of time. There was no certificate and all that. He patted me saying that I have cleared. So 21 was the age, minimum age is what I just read. Here also we do have, he should not be a minor, is what you have as a point. And next important point is that he should be a solvent person, then he should be of sound mind, and he should be having the qualification and experience as specified by the board. And apart from that, so he should have cleared the examination. So eligibility criteria for becoming insolvency professional is that before taking up the examination, so he should be a resident, he should be not be a minor, and he should be a solvent person, he should be of sound mind, and he should have the qualification and experience. That of course I just discussed 10 years or 15 years as the case may be. And he should not have been convicted by court. I'm not just going into greater detail on those things. And he should be a fit and proper person. So people might just ask a question, what is the fit and proper person and all that? So it is not about the physical fitness of the person. Fit and proper person is all about the integrity and the reputation of the character of the person. Then next one is that absence of convictions and restraint orders. So if there were to be any restriction on the qualification and professional to take up either by court or by any other authority, or even IBBI should not have just given any what I should say restraint order, or he should be having the competency and the amount of financial solvency and the net worth. So the person who is considered to be an insolvency professional should be having good amount of financial liquidity and net worth. Why this fit and proper person should have this? He should not be succumbing to any offerings made during this discharge of duty. So for ethics purposes, they have just brought this sort of criteria, is what I feel like. So fit and proper person. These are the eligibility criteria that you have for an insolvency professional. Eligibility criteria to take up that particular status. What is the process to become an insolvency professional? This I have just explained. What is that? There are two routes that you have. One got 10 years, 15 years. The other one being graduate insolvency program through which one can enter. So this, of course, I have already made as a discussion. What parameters are considered for an individual to be fit and proper person for registration as an IP? I told you that fit and proper person is not physical fitness. It is all about the integrity and absence of conviction and the financial net worth and competence. These are the matters that they have communicated on to this. Now let us just take up the next one. So can a non-individual like body corporate partnership firm can become an IP? So answer to that question is strictly no. Strictly no. So this is purely insolvency professional, only individuals can carry out. Only individuals can carry out, because a corporate person, even if a corporate body is made out of insolvency professionals, to carry on this insolvency process, only individuals are given the authority. But there is one concept that we have, which is called as insolvency professional entity. So this insolvency professional entities are being promoted by IBBI, like how we have ICAI. the institution which is governing the entire operation should be IBBI. We will discuss something about insolvency professional agency and what sort of role it has got and what sort of role IBBI is going to do. So we will take up that for discussion. Answer to this particular question: can a non-individual, namely body corporate partnership firm, etc., can become an IP? Answer to that question is no. Then next, is the limited insolvency examination and pre-registration course mandatory? So answer to that question is limited insolvency examination and pre-registration course mandatory? Answer to that question is yes. But no also can be an answer. So imagine that a chartered accountant wanting to take up that liquidation for a brief period. If IBBA feels that a chartered accountant or cost accountant or advocate or company secretary, whosoever is eligible to take up the examination, they can be provided with their eligibility for being an insolvency professional only for a brief period, only for a small assignment. You will come to know about what is the period, whether it is 6 months or 1 year and all that, you will come to know when you study this IBC rules and regulations. So as of now, at a macro level, is limited insolvency examination pre-registration education course mandatory? Means yes. If you ask me privately, I will say it is not necessarily yes in all points of time. In certain very rare occasions, you just find it is very much not required at all. It is something like this way. If I want to become a member of parliament, whether I am want to become to BJP or Congress or through any other party, we do have two routes. One is Lok Sabha, the other one being Rajya Sabha. And if you ask me a question whether member of parliament can come only in these two routes, answer to the question is no. There is yet another route also we have. What is that? We have nomination facility. So our previous government was just providing, not this BJP government or maybe BJP government, we do not know. So what they normally do is that a popular figure in the entire India, Sachin Tendulkar, was given the chance. Say, we used to discuss with our partners and known associates. Say they can give this opportunity to some other person who will take it up seriously, come to the parliament, contribute. And when you give it to Sachin Tendulkar or Lata Mangeshkar, what is it they will be doing? So it's a private thing which I want to tell you. So the point which I want to tell you is that we do have a third route. Likewise, if you strictly ask me a question, it need not necessarily be yes in all cases, but at a macro level, yes. So if somebody were to tell Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, yes, we will accept. And if they want to say that is that the only way, then I would just say we have nomination also. So likewise, limited insolvency examination pre-registration is not required in very rare cases. That rare case we will discuss when you are taking up that particular course. Right now, overview of this particular IBC and examination for which it is not required. So answer to that question is basically yes. So pre-registration mandatory to become an insolvency professional. Let me tell you, here I got to tell something openly. So that is chartered accountant should not misunderstand when I tell something about a CA Institute. I am also a co-opted member in Central Council as well as in Regional Council, which I have not conveyed it there in my brief profile. So this CA Institute is not that frequently conducting this pre-registration education course, which is 50 hours compulsory course that they got to conduct. No, out of the 3 IPAs that you have, CA, CWA and the CS. The CS Institute, Companies Electrical Institute, every month they conduct one examination. That is this pre-education course. So let me tell you as how this course is being carried out. I tell you this way. So I am a chartered accountant. I will check up whether I am eligible for that. So eligible, yes. If it is eligible, yes, I will take up exam. No coaching. When I am eligible, I will check up availability of slot, pay the money. In fact, it is like this way. Pay the money and then I will check up the which slot. Only then they will allow me to check up the slot. Firstly, I have to pay fees. How much is the fees? 1,500 rupees plus GST. Even when you are paying online, there could be some expenses also. That also the student should, that is Insolvency Professional should bear and not Ibbi. So it will come to some odd number, 1,600 or 1,700 something. So after paying, then the window for availability of examination center will be opened and you take up the examination. Pass and you are not becoming IP immediately. You have to attend for compulsory education course 50 hours. Then you select one IPA and you try. Registration should be carried out with Ibbi and you will become the member of IPA. This IPA could be your CA Institute, CWA Institute or CS Institute. So people will ask this question, so where is this advocates will go? So advocates, they don't have like CA Institute or CS Institute. They are expected to join anywhere here. Correct? So if you find that you are eligible, in case you are not eligible, then go to this particular queue once again. When you are becoming eligible, take up the examination, pass the examination, compulsory training, and enroll as a member with IBBI and IPA and being registered with IBBI. So here you are got to pay one-time fees, and here you are got to pay every year annual fees. That how we are paying to CA Institute, same way you are expected to pay. So in this particular times, even in the pandemic times, even if the enrollment were to be 20, 30 or whatever will be the number, they announce that particular day and you find a course will be happening and faculty members who are brought there are simply superb. I have attended to that particular course. They have just done exceedingly well. And I don't find any announcement from these two. Sorry to say. Okay. So those who are having that information, you can just communicate to higher ups and ensure that they're all conducted by CA Institute. So because of that, I become a member of CS Institute. So one day there is some connection I wanted to have with CS Institute because I am a qualified cost accountant also, and now I become a member through this insolvency profession. This is not a main issue. So this is what you have is limited insolvency examination and pre-registration mandatory. Yes, only after clearing that examination conducted by IBBI through NISM and having this 50 hours of pre-education course, it becomes mandatory. Then comes, where can I get more information? Syllabus examination about limited insolvency. Now I'm going to open up, share that particular screen to you, and I will be opening just like you people opening up. Shall I just take up that? Now I will stop sharing this and I will share my desktop through which I will be clicking onto this IBBA website, and then I will be demonstrating to you as how you're going to go about. Okay. So please acknowledge when you find the screen is shared properly. Okay. Yeah, I not that type.
Yes, sir. The screen is shared properly, sir. Screen is there now. We can see it.
Okay. Ibbi. Yes. Are you seeing the screen now?
Yes, sir. We are seeing the screen.
Okay. That Insolvency, Bankruptcy, Board of India. Are you seeing that?
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you. See now, look into the thing that you have limited insolvency and valuation examination. Okay. I click limited insolvency examination. And so far, from 2016 till this date, 6 syllabuses or 6 syllabi had just gone. What we are picking up right now is the 6th one, and I qualify in the 5th one. So just see. So first examination, second examination, third, fourth, fifth, and 6th. Okay, I click this. I am entering into limited insolvency examination with effect from 1st January 2021. I have cleared in the month of November 2020, 23rd. I will share my mark list also. You can just see that. Now, syllabus. So, you see the syllabus where you have 11 chapters. Okay, 100 marks. One moment. So, I will switch off my AC. Now, you just find as how 100 marks will get distributed. So, let us just go through item by item so that we will have our understanding. If it is causing you fear that so much of things that I got to learn. So let me tell you, don't frame any opinion. In English, we used to have a saying like this way: first impression is the best impression. And this I am just not believing at all. There is another saying in English we have: appearances are always deceptive. What is that? Appearances are always deceptive. That is what I just find. It is working in most of the places. Now you see, insolvency and bankruptcy code. The entire code is for 10 marks. Okay, one moment. So the moment I joined the course, I was just in search for what is a nice book in the market. Then let me also tell you something personally. When I taken up my CA examination, that is CA course as a student, we had coaching class in Chennai, but I was studying evening college. During the day articleship, I had no time to go for any coaching class. And we had Sunday examinations also to be taken up. Virtually, I had no time. So, went in for self-study only. There is one big problem in self-study is that what to study, from where we are got to start, what are all the connected topics to be studied in one go, that we will not know at all. Same case had happened to me for IBC. That is the reason as why it took 5 chances. And this insolvency and bankruptcy Bear Act is what I just bought. You just see all these flaps that I kept it for my own preparation and references. Even today, I'm just keeping it in my table And please just understand which Bar Act runs for some 256 sections, and you have only 10 marks. Okay. The best thing that you people do is that have Bar Act firstly. You just don't check up what textbook is helping you. These textbooks will give their own explanation, and you should understand what is right. So the authors might just give there is some expression which may not be of relevance for our understanding. I will not say that the author is bad. So we need to frame some opinion on the subject. So we have to do some hard work. So I strongly recommend that you have a hard copy and have this bankruptcy code. And that is Commercial Law Publishers India Private Limited. So of course mine was a little old edition. So I'm not an agent of any of the publishers. So please have that in your mind. So better buy that. And this book will have into it rules and regulations also. What do you mean by rules and regulations? See, of course, there are some 4 rules and 19 regulations that you have. So the volume of rules and regulations will run for greater in numbers than the insolvency bankruptcy code. So we don't call it out as an act. So this is a collection of all acts and carefully gathered, and any change that is made in this code will have impact in the respective acts, because you do have alongside of that partnership, LLP, income tax, and whatever changes that we make to suit the IBC will automatically get amended in the respective positions, respective acts. So that is the reason as why you call that as a code and not as an act. And this has got a superior application than others. So at this moment, when I just bought the book, I did not know east, west, south, north, and all that. So to acknowledge for my success, I got to recall one person, a chartered accountant. So this person insisted that I should take up this by 2016 itself, who is none other than by then the Central Council member, Sri Priya ma'am. She is known to me very long time back, even before she got into council, we know each other. And when I just called her and said, I'm not understanding this book. Book is very big, Bar Act, very dry. I'm not in a position to have that enthusiasm and all that. So she participated in a lot of seminars on this. She was insisting that I should take. I just simply ignored. This pandemic only gave me that opportunity to think on those. So when I just told her, she said, sir, why don't you come for a class? I will take exclusively for you, is what she's told. I was just thinking whether she is just really making fun. See, sometimes professionals amongst professionals thinking that the other person may not come, you just give your own promises. But she was not like that. I said, please give me the time, because I was having class from morning 6:30 for my CA final students. She said 5:15 in the morning. I was really stunned. Who is there in this world who can share their time by 5:15? I was really stunned. So she was just there, dead sharp 5:15. 1 hour she handled 4 classes or so. I never wanted to take full class. So that itself was sufficient. And she was just telling, when you read an act, certain things they may not be in a position to explain how the procedure is to be handled. So they will use the term as prescribed, as specified. If you run through the act, there is a code. So you will be finding a lot of places prescribed and specified. So prescribed means you have to check up with the rules. Specified would mean you have to check up with the regulation. Only then I understood. Okay. So we need to be very careful. So from my qualification of 87, after that, by 2011, I qualified for this diploma in IFRS, because there were a lot of talks that Indians will be coming at that point of time itself, where I qualified. After that, so there was no opportunity to qualify for any examination. So this prescribed and specified itself, I thought it's a very great thing. When I went through all that, the volume is so big. I just felt, how is that I will remember all this? This sort of impression when you are reading, when you are going through this act, you consider that it is something normal. All chartered accountants or all professionals will get that sort of impression. So if you feel bad of that, so that is wrong. That is, everybody will be getting, but still you will be clearing. So please just don't worry. Then come to Companies Act. Look into that. Chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you look into that, almost more than 50% of the Companies Act, you have it in this. Look into the marks that they are providing. 4 marks only. And not only Companies Act. Look into Partnership Act and Limited Liability Partnership. All together 4 marks. Sometimes efforts and marks may not match. But what to do? We can't leave anything. And I will tell towards the end certain things you may ignore, in the sense to study on a microscopic levels. Study certain things on macroscopic levels, because they are not going to do, or they will not be asking a very deep down question. Say it is something like they will be asking a question. And which side a temple will have an entrance? Something general question only. You can say eastern side, it will be east faced in most of the places. So that sort of general knowledge that we have, no. Likewise, you just find questions will be of that sort of macro level. I will not say you will be in a position to manage without studying. Never, never do that. But somehow manage, don't miss anything. And try to manage and find out. And definitely you can easily score all the 4 marks. No big deal. Because some of you would have studied some 10 years back, and more so 2013, in which Companies Act have just come. You would have updated yourself and it will be fresh in your memory, and please just push that. Partnership Act, though it is a little older, limited liability, so which was not that older, so definitely you can score that. What I did, let me tell you. See, that also I got to tell more. See, limited liability partnership, though we have in our office, there is one partner who will do all this LLP works. I will never be involved in that particular thing. So then for my examination, something I got to see from some base. I have not had any books and all that. So I checked up with CA intermediate and final or foundation study material. You go to the website, you click, and some 30-40 pages in which they are given the entire limited liability partnership. So read once, that's very important. Read once and develop your own notes. If you want any assistance, let me tell you, I'm very happy to share, because I had the benefit of somebody's knowledge shared. I told you that in the early morning, she could just spare, and she shared a lot of material. And through Vijayawada branch, it was a little premature, because that was a refresher course where after preparation you could have attended, but I have attended before knowing what was the subject. And yet, when it was posted in the YouTube, after studying, I visited that particular YouTube many times. So therefore, I will tell you the source and all that, as from where you're going to go for preparation and all that. So in a way, I would just feel very proud that for this particular topic, there can be a better speaker, but I felt that this could be the best topic for me for sharing, because the struggles that I've undergone, I don't think others would have just undergone. So that way, the struggles what people would be expected to experience, I will tell that you don't have to just do that. Because of lack of knowledge, I just went through many places, and now I just gathered all that and I'm going to share with you. So please just don't worry about that macro level. And the next one, you will faint by looking into the number of acts that you have: Contract Act, Negotiable Instrument, Transfer of Property, Code of Civil Procedure, Prevention of Corruption. All this which will be that is running, and more so this SEBI, ICDR, delisting, LODR, SAST. So this security SEBI revelation itself is voluminous. And I never went out of our CA Institute. All CA Institute will just do many of these matters easy for you. So if you look into RERA, if you look into the RERA, so whether we had a RERA in our CE syllabus, yes, we do have one elective paper, 6D elective paper, we have RERA there. And we have money laundering also, we do have. PMLA you have. So don't refer to any other book. Our institute is real temple only. Their materials are more than sufficient. I have not bought any textbook when I was doing my CA, and I studied only institute study material, and study material is the only source for me, and I just take my ball. Even the SEBI, everything we have just prepared. Maybe Code of Civil Procedure, for which CA Institute study material did not provide, I taken up from ACC Institute. See, there also for Code of Civil Procedure, transfer of property, a big volume. So here is a place where the experience will also be having some amount of benefit for us. See, when I was doing my BCom, Contract Act was taken up by the professor, and I was doing my articleship also. And in the college, they want me to take up examination also. So what to do? So we had some Kapoor, ND Kapoor. That ND Kapoor book, you have to go through a lot of pages. We are not having time. But good thing about Kapoor book is ND Kapoor, towards the end you have some summary. So instead of going through 25 pages, 2 pages of summary will bring about some idea. It's not that we are all dumb. We are come to that level. So study that summary. And likewise, this ACS Institute was having this summary. And from summary, I just studied. So most of that, which I am not in a position to prepare, I took up and downloaded, prepared in my own, there is a PDF, I just got a PDF, gathered and developed on notes like that. So all that could give you only 11 marks. So it will be 11 plus all this, 15 items will fetch you only 11. That means there will always be a chance that some of the acts may not be represented in the question paper at all, but yet you have to study. The reason is that not for examination purpose alone, but for practice purposes also, we need to study properly. This surface is very important, and limited liability is very important. Without a question, you would not be just having a paper at all. 5 times I took no, every time I find a good question we used to ask. In limited liability partnership, when I was just taking up the notes, there our institute study material gave one the statement saying that it's an association of personality, but there should be some economic activity. That is, this association should have profit motive. Only then LLP can be formed. And for the purpose of promoting some charitable things and some social welfare, development of some language or yoga, for which LLP cannot be formed. It's what I studied. That I have taken up as part of the notes. In the main examination, there is a question on that. It is not yes or no type. Then they have asked this question, LLP cannot be formed for these purposes, A, B, C, D. I took that. So sometimes that sort of notes that you prepare is going to really help you out. So item number 4 also we have just completed. Then item number 5. Finance and accounts, corporate finance, financial analysis, liquidity management, tax planning, and GST. So let me tell you, this 5 marks is good 5 marks. And let me also tell you, this will also, there will be twisted questions. What is that they will be doing? They will be asking some surcharge and tax liability to be computed. You may be good in taxation and you might have your own assistants doing the job for you, and you have software to take care of your tax computation, but under examination conditions, you will not be having the support of Excel. You will have only spreadsheet. And you may not remember this surcharge properly at various levels, and you have got to be very careful with that. So therefore, some handiwork is very important. That means not by having software, whatever you are doing, that is going to help. That will not be helping at all. So some manual computation for which you should be prepared, especially for the tax computation, all that. But it's not necessarily in all places it will be like that. Some amount of knowledge is very much required there. So this 5 marks, I would say that all of you would be getting with no difficulty at all. So all of you would be just be comfortable in getting all the 5 marks. Then this general awareness. One moment. Is it okay? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, this general awareness, Constitution of India, right of workmen, the labor law, economy, financial market, on which any question in this world can be asked. I remember there was a question asked, how frequently a factory is to be painted? What's the question? See, just like that, I just took some 3 years or 5 years, I don't remember. Soon after taking up the examination, when I checked up in the Google, my choice was correct. But sometimes we went wrong also. I mean, not in that particular question, in some other question. So, on this, it is only gamble. And if you go a little more preparedness, you will get it. I remember there was a question that they asked, what is the maximum age for retirement of judge in Supreme Court? I remember, honestly, I just don't follow this. But I remember when a judge was limiting his office on superannuation, they said he attained the age of 65 and all that. Keeping that sort of remembrance, I clicked 65, it was correct. So, some amount of general awareness, what they have just given is true. Painting, how many years within which you should go for painting and all that, they have just done basic concept of valuation. So, this is more to do with our profession. Financial market, more to do with our profession. General economy, so they may ask a question, something about fiscal policy, whether it is a power within the government or with RBI or with World Bank, some sort of question they will be asking. Similarly, monetary policy, whether it is within the power of government or RBI or World Bank or State Bank of India, something like that. So you need to be very careful and find out what is the difference between monetary policy and fiscal policy. Fiscal policy. So there you need to study and go. And they may be asking what is NNP, GDP, NDP and all that. So unless we have some amount of grip on the subject, wild goose, otherwise it will be wild goose chase, and not only that, you have negative marking also. What is the negative marking? Question I answer is wrong, I will be deducted with 0.25 of the qualifying marks. There are 2 types of questions that you have, 1 mark question, 2 marks question. You have 50 1 mark question, 50 into 150. 25 2 marks question you have. So 50 into 1, 25 into 2. 75 questions will give you 100 marks. The one which is going wrong, 1 mark question, I will lose 0.25 prima facie. Latently, I will be losing 1.25 marks. 1.25. I failed to qualify to get that 1 mark. I am losing elsewhere 0.25. Therefore, a wrong answer will result in negative 1.25. Okay, this is for 1 mark. If it had to be 2 marks question, I lose the 2 marks, 25% of 2 marks being 0.5. lose 2.5 negative if my failure is on 2 marks area. You have to be very careful there. And once I fail short by 0.25 marks, 59.75 was my marks. You just understand 60 is the cutoff for 100 marks. 60 I took 10. I got 59.75. I will show my result also. So, limited examination. So, register or enroll. Registered candidate sign my scorecard. Normally people don't show that.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. One of the user and myself also experienced some disturbance in your voice. So it is not clearly audible. Some echo like that and some disturbance is coming.
Because of the fan that is just running at the top of my head. I think now it will be okay.
Yes, it is very, very much better, sir.
Right. Okay, thank you. See, now you see my scorecard is like this way. I look this way only, you know. So I took up on 23rd November 3:30 to 5:30 slot and I got 69.25. So this sort of information, how much I've scored and all that, they will not be providing and the result is pass. Okay. So view, this is my personal profile instruction and that's the way we are into it. Now continuing with general awareness, 6 portions got over. Now the real scoring is going to come. All of you have a closer look at what you have. 7th one, case laws. There are 4 different places on which we have the decisions taken up. One is Supreme Court, the other one is High Court, then it is NCLAT, that is NCLAT Appellate Tribunal, the other one is NCLT. There are 4 stages that you have. So like how we have in the case of income tax, we have appeals, ITAT, High Court and Supreme Court, same thing you do have. But the High Court cases are very less. So we do have more cases in NCLT, NCLAT and Supreme Court. Now let me just click this and find out for you. Supreme Court cases, you have 17 in numbers. What is that? You have 17 in numbers. I think you can easily view now. 17 in numbers. The case law, what they are going to ask, let me tell you, it is a very simple one only. Here you have High Court 9, NCLAT cases 17, and NCLT 17. Totally 60 case laws in which question will be asked. How the questions will look like and all that we will be discussing a little later. But the one that is taken up now is this 60. So if a person had just gone through those 60, he is sure of getting 10 marks. Here, they have mentioned it very clearly, 5 questions carrying 2 marks. So 5 questions, each one will carry 2 marks and it is going to be 10 marks. So therefore, it is jackpot. If you get it right, 10 marks. If all these 5 marks going wrong, they are going to lose this 10 marks and 2.5 marks short it is going to be. So please be careful with this. And there is also a technique of remembering the case law and the points that they have concluded. I mean, when you have a case law, definitely there is going to be some ratio that they would have given. That is the decision. And how the question will be asked is that section 29A or 25A, or they may just tell about waterfall model under section 53 is discussed in A, B, C, D. This sort of case laws that they will be providing, we got to say B or A as the case may be, or they may take up one case law. See, for example, in the matter of Bharti Defense and Infrastructure Limited, they have discussed about A, differential treatment between operational creditor and financial creditor. They are talking something about waterfall model. They are talking about the jurisdiction, or they will be discussing something about commercial wisdom. So there will be important points that they will discuss. So one of them is correct, or they may ask these following points were not discussed. So 3 points they would have discussed, 4th point they would not have discussed at all. So you have to correctly identify. So please be careful. This is scoring area. This is scoring area. So please be careful with that. Then case study on corporate insolvency resolution process and liquidation. So please just understand, when corporates are taken up, you have resolution. You don't push the matter to liquidation. Failing of resolution will result in liquidation. Same way in the case of individuals. Firstly, you just take up, there you just call it out as a plan. Here you call it out as a resolution plan, there you call it out as a plan. And there you don't call it out as liquidation, you call it as bankruptcy. That is the reason as why you have Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. So they have not used the term in the title as resolution. So insolvency, bankruptcy. So that means the structure of the name of the particular organization, IBBI itself, though at the very initial stage they see that they are not pushing through liquidation and all that, but the title is like that. You have to be very careful with that. So coming to this discussion, this is case study. This is not case law. They may give you a case study, and from the case study, they will run the matter for say 3/4 of a page, or 1 page or half a page. They will tell about there can be a question like this way. How many? There will be 10 questions, and each one carrying 2 marks. So therefore, a person who is thorough in the code, thorough in the revelation, will easily score 20 marks. So please just understand, 10 marks you can score easily, 20 marks you can score easily. Please understand, when you compare it with this, the quantum of study is too huge, but the marks that you get is very less. So these are all less productive, whereas 7 and 8 are more productive. The next one, case study on individual insolvency resolution plan and bankruptcy. Here 4 into 2, 8 marks. So like how corporate insolvency you do have for individual resolution and bankruptcy, as of now it is not, there is operational provisions that you have, but yet for the purpose of taking it up on academic basis, we do have this in our case study. Then case study on companies, partnership and LLP. One comprehension narrating a case, there will be 3 questions, 2 marks. This is what I was just referring about. At the very initial stages, they don't go into the microscopic levels. So on corporates and partnership and LLP, they ask this question. All these case studies will carry 2 marks. So 6 marks would mean only 3 questions will be taken up. So 1 in companies, 1 in partnership, 1 in LLP you will be having. And lastly, as how in the case of chartered accountancy, you have the code of ethics and all that. Here also we do have professional ethics. And on that, there is a case study, 3 into 2, 6. So if you take up item number 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, these 5 areas, if you count what the number comes, let us just see, 10 plus 20, 30, 38, 38, 44, 50. So this last 5 is for 50 marks, and go to the top where you find IBC code and rules and regulations 15. So 75 marks were related to almost, except for the companies, LLP and partnership. They're all matter related to IBC only. Rest of which I would consider on other areas. So this is the way the course is structured, and 60 marks is the minimum, and 1 into 50, 2 into 25, 100, and they may not, that is for wrong questions, wrong answers taken up, 0.25 of the qualifying marks they will get up. 2 marks question would mean, yes? Huh? 1 minute. Are you in a position to hear me?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Because some showing was there in the screen saying that unmuted all that. So was there any portion that you people did not hear me?
No, sir. We were able to hear you throughout.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See, coming back to this 75 marks on to exclusively IBC, except for that company's partnership and limited liability, and the remaining 25 or other areas. So therefore, our plan of scoring maximum marks we could see. And let me also tell you, there are 2 approaches we have for the examination. One is defensive approach. The other one is an aggressive approach. Let me tell you, whenever I failed, I just failed. Defensive approach was the reason. I had one of my friends located in Coimbatore. This gentleman is elder to me. In fact, he worked in overseas. His name is Mr. Ramesh, Chartered Accountant. For him, it was a third chance. He will not take up immediate chance and all that. In one chance, that is the 4th of my thing, it was third chance for him. He cleared with 63 marks, whereas I just got 59.75. I really felt a little bad, because when he took up the examination, he was just telling that he was not fully prepared, but he got 63. For me, I had a lot of experience of taking up the examination. I felt that I was a little better prepared, but I got only 59.75. Then he told me this way, Murali, why you are doing like this? So many questions you did not attend. Say, I was just telling, unless I'm sure I'm not going to attend, that I will not be attempting, because I'll be losing marks heavily, where I will not do that. Say, he told, no, you just don't do like that. When you feel that more than 50% you are right, but you are not 100% sure, try attempt those. So therefore, the question itself can be classified into 2 R's. Not attempted question I'm talking about, where you are not very sure. Under that, you are sure more than 50%. The other one, you are sure less than 50%. Then I just felt next time I got to do like this. So where I am not sure less than 50%, I will not attempt at all. Where I feel that I am sure mostly correct, I took up, and I left only 3 questions out of 100, all 1 mark area only. That means 97 questions I have attempted. I made my own analysis. Some quantity of marks I went right, and where I believe 100% correct, that also might have gone wrong also, no. So anyway, at the end of the day, I just scored more than 60. Clearing at 60 itself is sufficient. When you score more, it's not that you get more work. So marks and professional, what should I say, securing professional works are entirely different. So here we are not talking about anything on the profession. It is all overview of IBC and the examination. So therefore, I think I'm properly addressing for the topic. So this is all about the examination syllabus and all that. Now I stop sharing this particular area and I will just go back to my PPT. I will close some of the windows, otherwise this will cause my problem. Now I will share my PPT. So check up as whether you are seeing my screen. Are you seeing that screen?
Not yet, sir. Yet to open.
I will share. So our PPT will be reported. Are you seeing the PPT?
Yes, sir. It is saying you have started the screen sharing, but still background is black, sir.
Okay. So your screen sharing is fast. Okay. I will just do that. Is it shared?
No, sir.
Now?
No, sir. Maybe you enter double click, sir, to enter full screen mode once. Just see that. What we are seeing, what I am seeing actually is IPL Mudalizaran has started screen sharing. Double click to enter full screen mode. This is what is coming. The background is black.
One moment, I will just do the entire operation. I will stop sharing. See, there was one question asked by one Mr. Rajashekar. Can we join 50-hour course before passing LBBI? No. So you are not allowed to take up that 50 hours before qualification. So 50 hours qualification you can take up only after clearing that examination.
This thing is in contrast to registered valuation course where you have to do a training program first and then the examination. That helps, right?
Correct. That's correct. So some how about sharing now? Is that
no, sir. The same problem is coming. Maybe, sir, if you can share the PPT, I will ask the branch AO to share from his. Sir.
But I got to move the screen. No, I will write on the screen also. So that's a problem. Anyway, I will just once again.
Maybe, sir. Sir, if you can just sometimes what happens, like if the problem is coming, you can exit, sir, once the meeting and you join once. Maybe from then it will come. Can we try that, sir? If it does not work.
One moment. I will stop the sharing and share screen. I just put. Once again, it is showing your screen is sharing is fast. Once again, I will just do that. Yes, I think it's working now.
Yes, sir, it is working.
Is there limited insolvency examination pre-registration mandatory? So I think Rajashekar was asking this question. Is the limited insolvency examination only after clearing limited insolvency examination, I get the eligibility to attend for pre-registration education course. Whereas in the case of valuation, I am expected to complete that compulsory course, only then I am getting the eligibility to appear for the examination. Here it is not so. So therefore, that is the difference between these two. Then the next question, where can I get more information? Syllabus, frequency, examination and all that. So syllabus, I told you, frequency of the examination depends on the availability of the slot. So during post-pandemic, where we had some 6-7 months after September, there were a lot of rush. And I remember some of my friends in Hyderabad also, they went to nearby neighboring places. I don't remember exactly the place. I do not know Ramakundam or some other place. See, likewise, here I tried in Pondicherry. And after applying to Pondicherry, because Chennai was not open, so the enthusiasm after taking up, that is after studying, I don't want to lose that heat. So I wanted to just appear immediately in the next available slot. So I'm just not native of Chennai, though I was born and brought up in Chennai. So I thought we will just go nearer to our place, Tanjavur or Trichy, that sort of place. So going and coming, staying will be a problem. I just thought we will have it close by, so 180 kilometers to Puducherry. And their slot was available, I paid. And when the Chennai center was also open, I got exactly the same slot at Chennai. So having paid fees there and same time available in Chennai, I took up Chennai only because going and coming can be avoided. So 1,500 rupees, let it go. So availability of examination slot is very important because by the point of time I could do that. In Mumbai and all that, it was not open for a month or so. So that all depends on availability of slot. Frequency of examination is not a matter at all. One important thing that you have between the difference between valuation course and this IBC is that in the case of valuation course, I heard people have taken up or paid for 2 slots on the same day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and took up the examination on the expectation that in the first one they may not get through, and the expectation is more that the same paper or the same questions will be asked in the afternoon slot, and they have cleared in the second chance. That means at one point of time they can take up pay for 2 examinations. If they have cleared in the very first attempt, they will not take up the second examination. Here we don't have such possibility at all. Pay the examination fees, only then you get the eligibility to select the center. And by chance a person is not clearing that examination, he can wait for 12 hours. Say, I will tell you the secret. I never wanted to lose that tempo because in the next day morning when you get up, a different sort of feeling you will be getting. A little amount of sadness I had when I failed, and at the same time my mind said I should not leave, I have to continue. I had the fear that in the next day morning I may change my mind. So waited for 12:55, 12 midnight and paid the fees, only then I went for sleep. Not to tell that I'm very great. So the tendency of losing our heat may be there. So therefore I waited till 12 midnight, paid the fees and went for sleep. So therefore the point is you can pay for only one examination, take up that examination. I wish that all of you clear that examination. In case a person is not in a position to do, wait for 12 hours. That 12 midnight when it is moving, then that slot for examination will be open and there is payment option will be open. Once you click that, then it will open for availability of space, and that's the way you have to take up the examination. Is it okay? I think I have addressed that point. Can an individual who is not a resident render service as an IP? So answer to that question is no. The reason is that, see, how a person can do when he is not an IP? It's not like that. I have qualified, as an IP, I just surrendered the membership, gone outside India, I become non-resident, get back to India. Can I do that? So being a non-resident, I am not supposed to do that. So whereas I can become a partner or a director in an IPE, Insolvency Professional entity, where I can become a director or a partner, but I cannot be just taking up the role of an IP there. So then people will ask this question. Next question is, what is this IPE? IPE is like a partnership firm or a corporate body or an LLP, where they expect the IPE should have a minimum net worth of 1 crore. That means it is not like a chartered accountant firm with minimum capital you can develop a firm. That is not the case when you want to do it with the IPE. IPE cannot take up any of this insolvency professional job, but they can take up a lot of consulting and that sort of complex takeovers, and they can make as a resolution applicant, and that sort of role that can definitely take up. What is an insolvency professional agency? Say all these matter related to examination or post-examination, I thought we will take it up. Say in fact, let me be very honest in telling you. So these things are there in the form of FAQs. So what will happen is that I'll tell you very honestly, because with that many years of experience, not that I am saying I am great. So whenever you have FAQs, unless we have a problem, we will not go through FAQs at all. When there is a session that is available, instead of referring to FAQs, you find it easier when somebody is communicating. That is the way I just do. Even today, when a particular Excel function I am not knowing, I will be just breaking my head how to reduce my work. I will just go to YouTube, check up. I have my own articles student who become CFO in an entity. So his name is in the circle, he is called as Excel Sridhar. So the moment I just take up, within 5 minutes he solved the problem. Where it took 3 days with no solution, I just called Sridhar, can you just do that? Sir, this is only this much. And in MS Teams, he came and finished it off. So much happy. So after doing that, when I just went through, this utility is there. So same way when you have FAQs, it will be there only. So when somebody is just telling, we will get a lot of interest and the burden of going through so many pages will get reduced. So these are all basically what we are running is only FAQs. And of course, I will share my experience. That is also there. That may not be there in FAQs. Is enrollment with IPA mandatory? 10th question is, what is an IPA? IPA is nothing but your CA, ICAA and ACS Institute. Only 3 IPAs you have. Is enrollment with IPA? Yes. Compulsory? Answer to the question is yes. An individual who wants to seek or take up the professional work, he has got to be seeking registration of an IP with the board. He has to with IBBI, and he should be enrolled as a professional member in any one of these IPAs. Even advocates will come in one of these 3 only. You don't have such a body for advocates. How one can enroll himself as a professional member with an IPA? So of course we do have the forms for that, and we are expected to pay the membership fees. And there also you have CPE hours and all that. Only then you will have the eligibility to practice. Otherwise, we will lose it. And in the case of CA Institute, when you don't pay membership fees, your name will not be removed and all that. You can pay the fees. Whereas in the case of IP, it is not like that. Last date payment, when you are not making, you cannot just do practice at all. There is no provision of saying that you can qualify once again and all that. There is no such provision I see. So therefore, a person who is exceeded by not paying the membership fees is out of this IP profession at all. So therefore, membership fees payment is so important there. So in case of being an advocate by profession and meet eligibility criteria of becoming an IP, which IPA shall I approach? You can apply to any of these three. So this portion I have already answered. In case of being a diploma holder with more than 15 years of experience of managerial experience, I recently cleared LIE. Can I get registration as an IP? See, one important thing which I want to tell you is that I had a lot of difficulties in getting the membership from IBBI, both as a valuer as well as with IP. What is that? Say, at the time of initial registration that you are making, I have shown you new registration, old registered member. So when you are enrolling it at the initial stage, keep all your records very clearly and copy the very important information there. What I did not do, that extra care I did not take up. Casually updating, become 63%. There is that become certificate. I got to search. If I got to search, it will take 2 days. Who is going to take up your become? So it's all there. I have updated 63%. And while they are offering the membership, they are asking for become certificate. So searching become certificate was most difficult task for me. So then I said, okay, I will remove become itself. They have said nothing doing. Whatever you registered, you have to show. So therefore, that initial registration, what you are making, keep all your records, take that extra care, whatever I have suffered. Because of that, some 1.5 months, the communication was going and coming and all that. At one point of time, I told I don't want this membership at all. So much of questions you people are asking. See, what had happened is that my name is L. Muralidharan in one place, in another place Muralidharan L, and another place Lakshmi Narayanan Muralidharan, in another place Muralidharan Lakshmi Narayanan. They were asking questions and asked me to prepare an affidavit that in these places my names are there. I am that person named in these places, and if there were to be any problem, I will indemnify IBBI. So a lot of such bad things had happened. So it's because of my carelessness only I will tell. So I will not blame IBBI. Let me tell you, please take extra care when you are registering initially. Please just do not take it for granted. Please just take it up with greatest amount of care. Next question. What is pre-registration education course? This, of course, I told you. Rajesh Shekhar had asked you a question that also I have answered. So sometimes what is likely to come later, I have already addressed the point. So where we can push it. Next one. So where more information regarding course fees, schedule, location about the pre-registration education course is available. I told you that the ACS Institute is frequently conducting this pre-examination, pre-registration course. And how do I know about all this? So those who are just asking a lot of doubts for the purpose of preparation, they give a lot of information. So we had a group where we have attended this Vijayawada group, and people used to ask in a group, they will ask which is the best place and all that. So some of the chartered accountants, most of the chartered accountants who cleared went only for CS. I've also done like that. So in case CA Institute were to have a course, please just do that. That CPE credit and all that is very much important. So please give that importance. What is graduate insolvency program? This I have discussed. It is a very costly course, 12 lakhs of rupees plus, and 2 years, 24 months program. And in one academic year, they take 52, and it runs to 2 academic years. This entire 12 lakhs for 2 years and not every year. And those who are not taking up that 10 years, they can directly enter. Whereas chartered accountants, cost accountants with 10 years, they're all having that lateral entry. And this we have discussed in greater detail. Then comes where from more information, details, course fees, schedule, location about graduate insolvency program can be obtained. So type it out, Google Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, IICA. So it runs to some 30 to 40 pages. It's a good brochure they have just given, because They charge so much, no, and it is a residential course. You can't. Now it may be online course they would have taken up, but as it was initially taken up, it was a residential course, and syllabus structure, guest faculty members or in-house faculty members are very good. I checked up with what they just teach and all that, very good. But person need to invest so much of money and so much of time. So it all depends on person who can do it. Is there any upper age limit for seeking registration with board as an IP? Answer to the question is no. At this age, at the age of 54, I am registered. 54 itself I cleared, no problem at all. For that graduate insolvency program, the maximum age limit for taking up that entrance examination, they kept it as 28. No upper age. After that is to get into as IP. So item number 20, how can one commence practice as an IP after obtaining registration? So there is something called as whenever we are expected to take up an assignment. See, let me tell you as from how do we get assignments. This is a top class secret. Normally people don't reveal this openly. So from where I will get assignment? When I have attended or when I have taken up my DISA compulsory class. So weekend classes were available at Chennai. At Chennai, when I have to take up the examination, my schedule for CA students will get affected, and therefore I was postponing and all that. I was so fortunate to get during the times where I was not having class. In Coimbatore, we had one session. So weekend I will travel to Coimbatore and attend to the class and come Sunday night or Monday morning by train. So at that point of time, one of the faculty members being an IP. So that point of time, I did not had this inclination to study this IP. I was just simply ignoring. Later on, I got his number and then I called him, and he was not evasive. He was very much sharing the information. His name is Raghavendra. So native of and he shared a lot of information. Let me tell you, sharing is caring. What is that he told? You need to have a good rapport with bankers. Number one. Why bankers? Because they are financial creditors. So whatever debts or whatever lending that they have made which are resulted in NPA, before erosion of asset value, they want to swiftly take up the case of corporate insolvency resolution process. So if they cause any amount of delay, what will happen is that the amount what they realize will be less, and time barred cases cannot be taken up in this IBC. So therefore, within the time you have to take it up, and therefore bankers will be a good source. And having checked up with bankers, the fees what they offer are on the lower side. Very openly, let me tell you. So for a low fees, some professions are taking up because they say, otherwise I don't get an experience. What is the meaning in paying annual membership fees, attending to CPE hours with no income out of that? So naturally, I will accept this sort of assignment. So people are there to undercut and do that. I'm just giving you information. I'm not expressing my opinion. I'm only giving information to you. That is one place. Second place. So what these operational creditors would do, if I were to be a supplier to a company, after battling with them for getting my money, when they are not paying, so quite naturally I find I have taken up the option of arbitration also, because arbitration in which the arbitrator would just give his judgment, but if the other person, corporate debtor, is not willing to give, see, when he is having that willingness to pay, he could have paid initially. It is not that when arbitrator is approached and when he is providing the judgment, when he is not paying, it shows that he has got scant respect to all this business ethics. But once you are taking up CIRP process, he knows very well that he will be removed from the board and his functions will be cut and his role will be paralyzed, and there is going to be another person, that is interim resolution professional. The IP who is initially taking up the job, we will call him as interim resolution professional, and he is going to remove him. So a sort of a threat will always be there in the minds of corporate data. Yeah, a sort of a threat will be there in his mind. You see, this sort of IRP is going to cause him a threat. One moment, otherwise he will be keeping on talking. Hello? I will call you later. I am in a meeting. I am speaking on a webinar.
Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry.
Okay. So please just understand. See, this threat when it is giving, he will give greater respect than before. That is all the superior point that you have with IBC. So prior to IBC, the amount of respect what you are giving is different. And once IBC is there, the respect will be different. So I do not know how many of you have just seen our Rajinikanth movie, Baksha. Anybody there who had just seen?
Yes, sir.
There will be a scene where his sister will go for getting medical seat. The correspondent of that educational institution, he will talk filth. I just don't want to go there deep. And once Rajinikanth goes there and he will be saying that I have another name, and he will be telling briefly about his past histories, then the person will have the greatest fear in his life and he will immediately offer the seat. Though this IRP is not a Rajinikanth, but definitely that IRP will bring about some amount of respect for the money that was, or the credit which was given to the operational creditor. This operational creditor will have better say. So, from where I will be getting this operational creditor approaching me? So, we are all chartered accountants. How an operational creditor will come to you that you are an RP qualifying for IRP. So, we do have this sort of provision in IBC. What is that? A financial creditor who is initiating the process of CIRP is expected to appoint a resolution professional, insolvency professional, and he has to submit to NCLT to take up the process, to initiate. See, it is something like a complaint that they are lodging, that this person had not paid so much of money this many years. So, NCLT is a place where you have to lodge the complaint. Whereas in the case of operational creditor, it is not a must that he should prefer a name while he is complaining it to NCLT. There is a different procedure that we have. So, for him, there is no necessity at all. But he can also recommend. So, you just think as a supplier, when you are supplying so much of material, to whom you will approach? Will you approach chartered accountant or you approach an advocate? So, what a businessman will have in his mind. So, therefore, here is a place where chartered accountant institute should call all these business people, or it is not that CA Institute New Delhi need to do. So, we can have Chamber of Commerce, and where you bring all these business representatives there. So, tell that in case you have such problems with your own customers who are not paying that, it is not that you have to go to advocate. They are all chartered accountants. We can initiate the process of CIRP, and there you can open up that window. But is that CA Institute that just done this? Is that the branch is doing that operation? So we ourselves are not knowing about all this. So don't worry. Until such time, until CA Institute could do all this, how is that these business people who have given so much of credit will approach? They will be knowing about this. They will call the advocate. Advocate will say, yes, we do have CARP process. So we will do that. And that particular advocate also should be knowing about the chartered accountant who can do that. So therefore, the second important point what I'm telling is you should have good rapport with such advocates who are taking up the process of CARP, and therefore a sort of a network you can develop. First one, a banker. Second one, advocate. Third one is IBBI. I do not know how you do that. In case the advocate himself is doing all this operation of CARP, but if he is not qualified as an insolvency professional, where the IBC is allowing the operational creditor to lodge the complaint to NCLT without an insolvency professional identified, then the NCLT, what they do is that they will approach the IBBA to recommend a name for insolvency professional. So there are three different places where we can get the job. What are the three different places? One, a banker. Two, advocates. Three, IBBA. And please just understand one more thing that you have. The one more thing. What is that one more thing? So another insolvency professional can also bring you works. So it is something like this way. I would just put it like in this fashion. Say last year by May 1st, one of our partners passed away. We were not knowing what was the reason. Sudden cardiac arrest, he passed away. And we were shell shocked. And within 15-20 days, we have to take up the assignment, and we have completed the assignment. We are all very dull. So because he was like a fatherly figure who taught me cost accounting, though the firm name is L. Muralidharan and Company, but he was 59 by then. So, and our last year of Union Bank of India work got over, and we did not bother about empanelment because anyway it is cooling period. He was also referring cooling period and all that. We are not updated at all. We are not applied at all. MEP, we are not that is right. What had happened is that later on we came to know that they are not going to have this cooling period and all that. We are lost. I remember 2 years back, we were allotted with 2 branches instead of 3. Say that our senior, who was frequently interacting with officials in Chennai zonal office, so he said, sir, only 2 branches we have allotted, normally it will be 3. So in case anybody who is not taking up the branch, please allot to us. He just conveyed it. And with a mere reference like that, there was a call from zonal office, and we got the 3rd branch also. So this information, like how we have been auditors for Union Bank of India, there is another firm also being auditors for some of the branches of Union Bank of India. They are also allotted with 2. And when we got the 3rd one, we told to the other firm, please just write. We got the 3rd one. These people approached, they got their own. But by that point of time, what had happened is that article clerks were given with leaves, and they were not having people to carry out. And that branch assignment we got. So with 2 branches we had, now we had 4 branches. 3 in our own name, 1 for the other firm. What I am trying to say is that, so when we are having friendly approach with other chartered accountants, other IPs, they will bring about a lot of such works. If you go through IBC, you will come to know the scope of IP, the firm where I did my articleship. So that gentleman, to him, casually I was just referring about IP work. There is IP and as I qualified. So he had in his list of clients those who want to go for voluntary winding up, that is voluntary liquidation. Because of this pandemic only, it is not true. Otherwise, those assignments we will be getting. So therefore, sky is the limit. we should not feel that I will get assignment only from bank. It's not like that. You're all professional members. You will know how to manage this, and to some extent, it is going to be a sort of a self-marketing only. So, self-marketing only in the sense. So, definitely, when we approach one client and trying to push our case, so you know the technique. I don't want to expressly provide that this is the way, but I am telling you the source: banker, advocate, another chartered accountant, and Ibbi. These are the 4 different places, and try to put the network as much as possible, LinkedIn and all these places, without putting as an advertisement. You try all that, and definitely you will be just getting. And there is one thing called as authorization for assignment. When I have to take up that assignment, I have to take the permission from the IPA, and I will do that. Those matters related to authorization for assignment, I am just leaving it because there is not matter for the examination. So even this also IP account and all that I will be not taking it up. Now I will tell from where we have to study, because passing the examination is very important. I will stop sharing and I will share some other screen. Okay. One moment. Yes. Okay. See here, I need to know as how to practice. See, I told you that we need to have that BAR Act study from YouTube, places where Vijayawada and Hyderabad they conducted. Vijayawada's one was for the 5th syllabus, and whereas Hyderabad was for the 6th syllabus and all that. You can just study of your own. You have different source. There are private coaching classes also. They conduct this IBC course. We have also done once, and that way we have different sources from which you can study. But none of these coaching classes will have a greater care on you. They will conduct coaching class. You have to study, and practicing is very important. So practicing is very important. I tell you, even in CA final examination, we had one of our students in the subject of strategic financial management. She scored 98. She scored 98 out of 100. She called me and said, "Sir, I have cleared the examination, but I was really surprised to find I scored 98, sir, all because of blessing and all that." I did not do anything great, but only one thing I told, that you should continuously practice. So, which she practiced and got it. My daughter, she did not get 90 and all that. She just got some 80 plus. But to get some confidence and clear in the very first attempt, I just tried NISM. I have not gone through anybody telling about this. This NISM model examination. Are you seeing the screen?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, I am. We are seeing.
Okay. Now, because of this pandemic, where I cleared valuation examination, and I was just trying what examination I can write so that I can improve my skills. Even today, I'm seeing a lot of Excel programs and all that. So, how to reduce our office work? How to reduce the dependence of my assistants? How I can shine. So even at this age, I will not just leave. So Investor 1, Investor 2 course also I have completed. And merchant banking also I have completed. Interest rate derivatives also I have completed. All 1,500 rupees. And at one point of time when no slots were available, online examination was also allowed. That is, in my office itself, I took the examination. So when I was just running through, then I had this valuation of security and limited insolvency. Okay. So this free demo, that means your objective type question and all that will be taken up there. So now you have come to close of the website. Now, list of other mock tests is what they are given. List of mock tests. So casually we will be just doing no. So instead of listening to some so taxi wala there is songs. I just listen to Telugu songs also. So especially the sixth Sriram's songs I was just I used to listen or even see movies also. No problem. Telugu or Malayalam or Tamil, I will see no problem at all. So I was just going through, just watch. So since I was in the coaching, I was just finding the CA Foundation, what this NISM is doing on CA Foundation. Just watch how things will change. I have entered into that. So principles and practice of accounting, all that I was just going through. So where I've just seen something, GST practitioners examination, forensic and fraud deduction examination. These are I have cleared up to ET. AT examination they are not keeping at all because of pandemic. They are postponing and all that. I have clicked this. So start free mock test. Look into the number of questions that they have. 2,110 and each examination of 25 questions. Why should I discuss about DISA in NISM? So the point which I want to tell you is a very simple point. We do not know that DISA practice is there in NISM. So I take up the examination. So if I do not know anything, I will put end of the examination. This means tell fail. I am not just really worried about that. I wanted to know what is the correct answer for this question. So next question. So which one is right? They are giving explanation. So somebody else is creating a bank for us to study. It is up to us that we got to take it up. Now I am going back to the place where they got to take up limited insolvency. Now look into the number of questions that you have. 789 questions we have. And start your mock test. For the purpose of providing core services and information utility does not have an obligation to. At this moment, we have not studied. So the point which I want to tell you is that for your examination, you just don't spend any amount of money. It is there in this world, lot of things you have. It is up to you to search for that and take up. I did this. Of course, I had staff where I will give the link. He is working from home and almost 789 questions I got. And I am keeping it. It is somebody's property where I cannot share. But I can use it for myself. I have prepared that and take up examination. So many times I will be just doing. First 2 times out of 5 chances. First 2 times I did not do. I did not know. So for the third time I was just a little more focused. Trying to work out problems from here. I will use to click and I was just getting good marks there. But yet I failed. Last time I just cleared with good marks. So NISM is a very, very important website. What is that? You just look into that model examination. So how I have typed is the moment I type, because I visited many times, no? Say when the website name is nism.modelexamination.in. No gap in between. nism.modelexamination.in. Okay. Use this. What is the problem in it? So that is one thing. Then there is another website also you do have. All are free only. So next one is V-Skills. V-Skills. Okay. V-Skills. What are the areas that you have? So they discuss many things in this world. Management. So for practice test, finance and banking, you have real estate questions, accounting questions, sales, marketing. You have a lot of variety. If you find that general awareness for which you don't have any material, you can have this V skills also. So what are the two things that I just conveyed to you? So one is NISM examination, the other one is V skills. And from this, you develop your own, say this, not only on this, even on health and fitness also they have. So fitness instructor, not related to our case. So you have computer basic test. So what this V skills would do is that it is giving a course, a certificate is given, and this certificate is used for seeking employment or consulting. Here I will show you one important thing. Or one moment. So I was just trying about yes. So what is it? Negotiation basics. Say what is the role of these negotiations to the work that we have, that is insolvency professional job. Please understand, when you are taking up the resolution professional work, that is interim resolution professional or resolution professional, or when you are taking up the role of a liquidator, definitely the skills that we have got to sharpen is not knowing about the law. We have to talk something very important to bring both the parties who are having opposite expectations to a table, agree and make it implement. So what is very important is your negotiation skills. So I would not have taken up my examination on negotiations, but I require it as part of my qualification to execute the job right. So you do have for this negotiation basics. This is test to know. So here I clicked only the test tutorial, life skills, even writing some article for which career for content writing we have. So this pandemic has just given me to know about a lot of things around the world which I was not knowing at all. So I have seen this opportunity given to me as a window open for that many participants. I don't know how many of you are there, but definitely this will lead to you thinking and clicking on to this. And when you already have good skills for writing, you can just monetize this. Anything for that matter, our knowledge should be monetized. So at this pandemic times, we will not get valuation job, we will not get IBC work. Myself and one of my students who is a chartered accountant, he is also a native of Nellore only. His dad is also practicing here. And I have a lot of chartered accountants from Nellore practicing in Chennai. So one Ashok Reddy and his son he had not cleared, but his daughter cleared. See, all of them when they just take up some assignment, they consult. So the point which I want to tell you, yes, a lot of people have knowledge. Say they want to monetize, and over call when they ask information, we will not say please send only through mail, and for the paid consulting I will pay only for cash. We will not do that. We will share, and because of we sharing information, and we can also approach them and take information, and we can convert them into money. So this way I also felt okay. What is that I can do with knowledge on valuation, knowledge on insolvency? We have conducted recently a class and which was very successful. So the amount of mistake what I committed for IBC is that I took it casually first 2 times, and then little amount of focus, and yeah, any examination for that matter. Say fight for my intermediate, all self study only. Here also self study, but whatever mistakes that I committed, and because of the time also got lost, and I just approached a good coaching. I would have got it a little earlier, and I would know what to study and what not to study. So I will not say what not to study as a very important piece of information, but we ourselves will be in a position to judge, okay, with so much of topics that we have 15 numbers, we have only 11. So with our professional judgment, we will be in a position to find out which one to study and which one not to study. So the point which I want to tell you at this point of time is that you have your own choices, and take up the right decision and take up immediate chance when the centers are open up and qualified. We do not know when this professional qualification will be in a position to monetize. Monetize means definitely make that into cash. So our qualification, let me tell you my earlier experiences. Soon after my 10th class, my dad told, please just go and attend typewriting class. Without really knowing what it is going to help me, I just went and tried. So shorthand also, he said, okay, shorthand. See, somebody is going to dictate, I will take notes and all that. So I cleared there is entrance examination, took up my articleship, where at one point of time, the typist did not come on that day, and our auditor was not knowing, he is not knowing typing. So he has got to type a report. So then I said, sir, please tell me, I will do. So he just did not know that I know all this, but I am not used in every places. So place of emergency we can use, and whenever we have some special skills, that way we are respected. For briefly, I was in employment, and I had a good knowledge on mathematics and computational things, and people immediately used to consult. And same is the way for computers also. See, if you sharpen your skills, people will approach you for most of the problems, and you will definitely be monetizing. In the sense, you don't call them for cash, but you can use their contacts for making money. So a lot of things we do have such special skills. Chartered accountants generally have in great numbers at a very high levels. I don't have to just tell, but I want to remind to you that monetizing is very important. Do not keep your qualification just for the sake of keeping it in your biodata. Monetize. That's very, very important. And then say we do have other courses also, valuation course we do have. That is a point we wanted to communicate here. Are you seeing that? Limited insolvency, and you find valuation course. Just
Yes, sir.
well, I just thought you can also try that. Firstly, I tried valuation and then to insolvency. Here also we do have not one course, there are three you have. Asset class, securities or financial asset is the one that is applicable for our chartered accountants, where the area is a little, make it a little bigger. And we have macroeconomics, so many. When I just introduced this to my economics professor taking up foundation here, she said that, sir, syllabus is too big for 3 marks. Yes, what to do? This is 6 marks for finance and financial statement analysis. Professional basic ethics. Though you had a program already done, I just don't want to go into greater detail because you people would be having a greater amount of knowledge. And this related course also you can try. Now, I would like to take up a sample IBC question, because when we talk something about case study, case law and all that, so unless we have that seen, there is no meaning in what should I say, discussing only certain things. Now let us just try. Are you seeing that screen?
Yes, sir.
So I will run through, say, 5-10 minutes, and by that point of time, our we will be coming close to the final time. Which of the following enactments was not amended as part of IBC? Customs Act, Limitation Act, Payment and Settlement. So you are expected to click the one which is right. So since we are not studied IBC, how is it, sir, you can expect us to answer to this question? That is limitation. So my main point is not that I wanted to show all the 100 marks question that fast here, but what is very important which I wanted to tell you is, I'll show you the case study and the case law. So these sort of easy questions will always be there. Basic earnings per share, how it is to be calculated. This is part of that. Balance sheet of a company does not reflect. So don't judge based on these questions. These are all lollipop questions for chartered accountants, but we are expected to complete that. Yes, you see, the case law question will be like this way. This is Supreme Court case. So the Honorable Supreme Court in Mobilex Innovations Private Limited versus Kirusa Software Private Limited has interpreted the expression Operation Kodiga, existence of dispute and time value of money and doctrine of repugnancy. So which one they have referred to is the question. So existence of dispute, that is pre-existence of dispute, is a very important factor. So, so what is very important is what they have discussed is pre-existence of a dispute. So whenever there is a dispute between the operational creditor and corporate debtor, when you have a dispute, and where in that particular section they were talking about that dispute should have been in the form of reference to a court order or by entering into a decree given by arbitration tribunal, arbitral bench. So they were giving some reference, but what had happened in that particular case was that there was no court references, there was no dispute which had gone to the court, there was no arbitration that they have entered into, but they have just taken up this matter, and dispute need not be in the form of taking up the case to the court. Even a mail exchange between the supplier and the corporate debtor itself is sufficient to say that there is a pre-existence of dispute. So if you go through the case law and remembering the point, that's very, very important. That is the one that you got to catch. So then this one is in High Court case, Calcutta High Court case, where they will be referring about in the case of C Metallics Limited and another versus Union of India. It was held by Honorable Calcutta High Court. Which one of these three they have taken up for discussion? So NCLT and NCLAT have to adhere to the principles of natural justice, barring exceptional circumstances. So they cannot be just taking up high-handedness, and they should just do this. What is very important is principle of natural justice, barring exceptional circumstances. That's a point that they have taken up for discussion. And in another case, this way they will be asking question. And I'm just looking into one more thing. Sometimes, instead of giving this reference, they will give one case law and they will ask what is the principle that they were discussing. Okay, this is a case study. So, where 56 to 65 will be based on this case study. So, this case study may run to say 1 or 2 slides, and you will be asked to answer to one. Say here, we don't have prior knowledge on IBC. There is no meaning in going through that. So I wanted to show you as how it will be looking like. Okay. So we have got to select the correct one. And only when you are sure, you take up. So ultimately, the point which I want to tell you is a very important point, which most of you might be knowing it, but yet I wanted to tell you about this. Are you seeing the screen?
Yes, sir. We are seeing the screen.
Right. So I would like to tell you that 50 into 1, 50, 25 into 2, 50. So the point is this way. There are 2 approaches that we have. This I was just referring at the initial stage, defensive approach and aggressive approach. Most of them will tell you have to go for defensive approach. That means choose only when you are 100% sure that it is right. Correct. One more point is that do not try any when doubtful. This is what we say as a defensive approach. Now, people who are having this defensive approach, I was scoring, first time I scored 49.75, see, then 51. Then I had my own doubts. This sort of doubt people will be having. What is that? So choose only when you are 100% sure that you are right. So what I am believing that it is right need not necessarily be right. No, I would have chosen a wrong answer, but I will be believing that it is right. So therefore, there is a chance that I will lose here also. I will lose here also. Then this is sort of argument people who are having aggressive approaches having. And do not try. I don't get marks at all. Don't get marks at all. So chances of clearing the examination is very less. Correct. This is what aggressive approach in which these people will have something to say. In aggressive approach, where, so one thing you have got to be very careful is that aggressive people would be having the skills set in a very rightful way. I would just put it this way. An easier example that I can quote is MS Dhoni. He is a defensive person or an aggressive person? Definitely an aggressive person only. If you take up Sachin Tendulkar, aggressive only. If you take up Virat Kohli, aggressive only. Rohit Sharma, aggressive only. Rahul Dravid, defensive only. So I am not just complaining that Rahul Dravid is bad and all that. Defensive approach, I will not say that is a failure and all that. Is a wall. But fame, name, etc. are associated with aggressive approach. For an aggressive approach, what is very important is not to be aggressive always. Then it becomes mad. So sharpen your skills. Sharpen, practice, study well, and you will get 100 over 100. That's very important. So why should I just look into I will lose so much of marks? Study well, write all the questions, get 100 over 100. So I have tried like that. After losing first two on defensive approach, on taking up aggressive approach, I studied with a little amount of focus. And this pandemic also had given me a lot of focus time also. Early morning, 4 o'clock, I will get up without any reminders or alarm. So I will get an impression whether I should sleep for some more time. So when future is stored for what is stored for me, I do not know. So I will immediately open up computer, laptop. Of course, I don't disturb my other family members, and I try. So when at this age of 54, with a lot of difficulties to remember 14 days, 10 days, 7 days, and all that, I developed my own ways of remembering points, and I could clear. Maybe in the first, there is 5 chances. First two I will not consider as two as done with any effort. Last 3 years, good attempt. So all this is very much possible, and I would just say sharpen your skills, practice well, study well, and get 100 out of 100. With that, I would like to. It's a good note. Being aggressive, we can score very high marks, and world is very big, and definitely we can get a lot of works. And in a Mofussil place or upcountry place like Nellore and Tirupati, please just don't worry about that. So once this personal and individual and partnership forms notifications were made, you will have lots of cases. So that point of time, don't go prepared. Now itself you prepare. So with that, I will just conclude. And before I could just say all the best, I would like to get your feedback. In fact, if you have any doubt, you can just ask me now. So this is your time now. So if you have any doubt, please just ask.
Members, if you have any query, you can post it in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and you can ask.
So there was only one query which I have already answered, which was there in the chat box. Rajashekhar Kalluru.
Sir, before handing over the proceedings to my secretary, I would like to personally thank you once again for taking today's session. And you have dealt the subject in detail, sir, with where to find the resource material and where to take the mock test. I was not aware of the NISM mock test. Otherwise, it would have been very helpful in preparing for registered valuation exam, because at that time the questions were not there, and it was very difficult to source the material from various chartered accountants and the CMAs who are attending the course. I used to phone them up and get the questions, and it really helped me. CA Ramana Kumar, now he's practicing as an advocate from Chennai. He helped me with some questions, and almost some 10-20 marks they came. And I scored in the first attempt, I cleared 60 marks, I got so 60.25. So like
Super.
this, only we can clear the examination. We need to, as you said, go through and practice more and more questions. Then only we can clear the examination. Thank you once again, sir. And I'll hand over the proceeding to our secretary, Arun Kumar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of Nellore branch of SICA and Tiruppati branch, I thank CAL Muralidharan sir for his excellent presentation. I thank sir for his sharing his experiences and explaining the overview of the course and the topics covered in IBC exam. We appreciate your FAQs on the IBC course, which were very helpful for all the members who want to pursue this course. We also thank the Tiruppati branch chairman, C. Pandukumar sir, for accepting for this joint VCM. We thank all the members for participating in this VCM. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.